Yasuo was all the rage, and players like Pawn and Dade and Rookie, who are now all in China, were playing him and looking really dominant on that champion, but his always looked pretty bad.
A Rek'Sai taken immediately by Samsung, and after the way the last game went, I think it's probably a good idea to keep that one away from Watch.
And the Gragas ban. So this is the first game kind of this week that we've seen heavily into jungle bans. It's been kind of going the other way. Well, there's only one, but Watch...
it's a big one.
Watch doesn't play Evelynn well into the Rek'Sai, so I kind of wonder what he's going to do. Instead, they're going to take Victor and Sivir. They want to play aggressively. They want to get the damage down and keep up the dives.
Yeah. And so with this Rek'Sai off the table, what are you looking for in a jungler from NaJin at this point? What do you go for?
I want Watch to play Lee Sin, honestly.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's got the same playmaking ability that you get more or less from a Rek'Sai. I don't think it really helps you that much. You can't really do what you did last game with an Evelynn.
You know what? I've been casting League in Korea for 3 years, and that is the first time I have ever said I want Watch to play Lee Sin. I am 100% sure of that statement, because I used to really dislike him playing Lee Sin back when he was on Sword. But I think that if they want to go for a similar style of game, and I have been not impressed with his ability to play Evelynn when there's a Rek'Sai on the other team.
Scary. That just, it makes it even weirder, the situation that we're in right now with NaJin being so good. They're making you say things like that. What about the Elise?
We've seen it. We saw it on 513 in the LCS regions. It's definitely strong on 514.
Watch used to play a ton of Elise too. It's not like this champion is new to him at all.
I think it's fine on 513. I don't think it's a top tier jungler yet, but I think it is in a playable state, and maybe you'll go for this. I think it would provide a lot of the same early game pressure, and great.
Wow,
nice. Elise. A preview of next week, no doubt.
Yeah, probably. And the Braum picked up for Pure as well too. Braum, of course, has been quite high priority lately and still has playmaking potential for our Game 1 MVP. And this seems pretty reasonable. Kog'Maw, Azir. It's a pretty good team that Samsung has put together.
I mean, very standard. Kog'Maw was banned in the last game. We know that Samsung puts a heavy priority on this pick, as well as the Azir. And the fact that they're getting them so late in the draft is curious. Now, the Kog'Maw into the Sivir matchup, not a great lane matchup, especially when you don't have kill pressure with your support like you would with something like an Annie alongside the Sivir onto the Kog'Maw. So I think that Samsung's going to be feeling very comfortable, but I thought that last game, and it was just a nightmare. Now, playing Olaf into Azir, not great, I will say. I think playing the Rumble into it much better.
I mean, Olaf is great for teleporting and then running down a Kog'Maw, I suppose.
Yeah, good against Kog'Maw, but again, you have the problem with when the Azir wall stops. That's one of the few things that Olaf can't go through.
Yeah.
So maybe not the best pick here. Rumble, on the other hand, will be able to deal damage to the backline regardless of whether he can walk through the Azir wall or not.
Duke's going to have to be a little bit better on his teleports, though, to pull Rumble off. He's going to go for it anyway?
He will, because now he can't actually stop the TP.
Yep, so now he's got to do it. Uh-oh. Not the biggest risk.
No, I mean, but he played TP on his Olaf last week against Ku really, really well. So we'll have to see if that was a one-off or whether that train can continue here, and that is going to be something that we will be seeing from him a little bit more consistently.
Oh, we'll see. I'm excited to see what Watch can do on this Elise, because it's a champion that Samsung, may not have been practicing against too much. It's the first time we've seen it in Korea in a very, very long time. Watch is an old hand at this champ too, so you'd think he'd be able to make the plays.
You'd think he would, but it's been a long time. This is the first Elise pick we have seen this season in Korea. So I am intrigued, especially, like I said, because we're not on the patch where Elise is really strong yet. So we'll keep an eye on it, see how Watch can do on his old favorite. Definitely a lot of kill pressure across the lanes with that Elise pick. And we'll see if they can actually pull off an impressive victory for their 4th game in a row.
That's right. Samsung really wants to tie this up, and they've got a good composition to try to do that with. Fury on that very comfortable Kog'Maw pick for him. Crown, of course, no slouch on the Azir, and then just a very safe rest of the game. We'll see if it's enough. NaJin, again, going for this 2-0. So big going into playoffs. Can they do it? Let's get in the game and find out. And welcome once again to Summoner's Rift. NaJin e-mFire versus Samsung Galaxy. That was the most pathetic crowd cheer I've heard after such a big warm-up. The guy was like, 1, 2, 3. The fans like, Samsung fighting. The guy, maybe he just got here. Maybe that dude that counted 1, 2, 3 didn't see the last game or something.
Wow, that really just deflated the Samsung audience that last game.
Wow. Poor Samsung. Wow. And OQ on Corki makes people cry.
He's crying because he wasn't MVP.
Well, Pure was MVP, though.
No, it was OQ on the right-hand side.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it said OQ.
Sure? Oh.
Yes, I am.
So it looked like OQ in the Corki plane. I think maybe it was more like Pure was crying because OQ is off to die yet again. You know? He's like, I know you're 10 kills ahead, but stop doing that.
Well,
it said assassin carry on the sign there.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I think one of the biggest surprises here from NaJin is Goong. I mean, he just crushed Crown in that last game. He had some help, but after that, he was making 1v1 out plays.
Yeah.
And not dying to any follow-up ganks either. So Goong is a really interesting player to me, Doa, because, I mean, last spring, when Goong was on fire, he was incredible. And he's been so streaky. And it's not that he's streaky from game to game. He's streaky in that he will get a month or two of absolutely amazing play. And then he just falls off to being sort of on the lower end of average. And then he comes back again. So I'm wondering if he's going to keep on showing this level of dominance, because it's not that Crown has been a very stable player for Samsung. It's not like he has a history of just getting outplayed like that. He's not a flashy player himself, but he certainly doesn't get wrecked.
I think the most encouraging thing for Goong this time around in his recent resurgence is that he's been doing it on a wider variety of types of champions, which is something we hadn't really seen as much in the past, I feel like, from Goong.
Yeah, nice stun activation there from Pure. And yes, I think you're absolutely right. Just having some more breadth to his champion pool. What is going on?
This is OQ and Pure. There's the exhaust. Fury could be in a little bit of trouble. They don't want to push too far forward because they don't know where Eve is, but that's a lot of damage. You know, if they weren't going to go any farther forward, I don't know if you really needed to use the exhaust. I think they were trying to get the flash out of Fury, but didn't end up working out. They actually don't hit level 2 before Samsung does.
Well, they were not actually killing minions. They were just firing shots at Fury. Very interesting, but Luna and Fury, usually Wraith is the better laner compared to Luna. But Fury, yeah, taking a huge chunk right there. Both AD carries using their potions early. But Braum going to be able to block some of that damage coming in from Kog'Maw, which is nice when you don't really have a way of trading with it. See the carry rating right there, OQ up at 534 DPM on average.
Yep. Not too far ahead of Fury, and I think that speaks to how talented of AD carry Fury really is in most games. And it looks like we have Eve coming in from behind. Duke could be in a little bit of trouble trying to get away on that Rumble. He flashes. Is it enough? So low. There's a flash from Kube to help secure it, and first blood does go to Eve. Duke was just a bit too far up there.
Well, especially when they don't have a ward in that Tribe Rush. It's such an easy and effective ganking path for the Rek'Sai. So that is a nice kill early on for Samsung. And we didn't see that Watch was there to really answer to that. TP coming right in for Duke.
Yeah, and that's an odd thing to have happen to Duke, too. Usually don't see him leave himself quite as open.
Well, I mean, he wasn't actually that far up the lane. I think he thought that it wasn't that dangerous, but get in there.
Oh,
here we go.
There's the cocoon on the Crown. He gets out, though. Has to burn that flash to do it.
Yeah, he does. Quick burn on that, but at least they get another summoner, and that was very effective in the last game. Notice that Crown is taking heal this game. Part of that's just because, of course, there isn't that Maokai there in this game to stun him. But there's still other stuns. There's still the Cocoon. There's still the concussive blows. But I think he realized that that cleanse wasn't doing him a whole lot of favors. And when it came down to the 1v1 between him and Victor, it was pretty devastating for him to just have that cleanse because it wasn't actually helping him survive in that particular scenario.
Gung in the meanwhile has that ghost, so just being a bit more mobile on the Victor. Maybe planning on making some plays.
Yeah, that's because there's no Annie this game where he needed the cleanse. That's
right.
That's the key difference. So yeah, having that ghost this time.
No ignite though.
No ignite. That is true.
Well, Gung's pushed pretty far up. Eve could find an opportunity there, but doesn't look like he's going to go for it. He's going to try to come in behind OQ and Pure. The Prybush, they don't know he's here. This could be dangerous. OQ and Pure grouping up as well, too. That's a double knockup. Flash play catches Pure. OQ in a lot of trouble. There's a flash from him, and Kog'Maw not able to quite finish him off because of that summoner heal. Eve gets some of the parting Prey Seeker, but the bot lane escapes.
And all summoners used from Fury and Luna to try and make that work. Meanwhile, Pure keeps 2 of his, so there's a really good opportunity for a possible turnaround here from NaJin, depending on how Watch wants to gank. Now, slight gold lead from Samsung. They have made it work as a result of the kill and a slight CS lead onto the Kog'Maw, which is expected if you get this matchup. If you get the standard matchup with the Kog, just much easier to farm. OQ now has to walk all the way back, not even healing to full right here. Instead, choosing just to walk forward. He doesn't want to miss any of that CS.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to slowly regenerate health if he just kind of farms safely under turret, so it's not the biggest worry. Meanwhile, down in mid lane, maybe a play coming in here from OQ and Pure, or from Watch and Pure rather. Gravity Field, Crown a little bit held up, and there we go. Chaos Storm comes down. Watch, oh, he can't quite get to him because of the minions. It was just a bit of an awkward timing with the wave coming in like that. They did force a summoner heal though. Parting death sentence from Luna. He's just going to keep that lane pushed up, I guess.
That's something he's been good at so far in this series. Samsung holding
Oh,
on though.
Luna in
Here
a
we
lot
go.
of trouble going for that ward, and it was bait. Eve coming in as well too. Gung in a lot of trouble. Nice Emperor's Divide from Crown. Exhaust prevents some of the damage from going through. Watch, flashing ahead, repels at the last second. Is he going to get Luna? Oh, he doesn't quite get it. He actually did. Never mind, but Eve got him. Both people like dying simultaneously. It was a bit hard to see what was going on there.
He had the execute in the spider for him, so he
so.
did actually get the kill there. And they do trade 1 for 1. But are we going to see a possible dragon attempt right here? Gung out of mana currently. And so is Crown, but Eve just going to pop some wards into the enemy jungle. Not going to make a play onto the enemy blue buff or anything of the sort. Maybe could have done that actually, but Pure still at full HP, so there is a risk there. Bit of a hilarious sequence of events in that mid lane. Looked really good initially for NaJin, but Gung got a little bit too close and had to burn both of his summoners. And again, no mana really for a follow-up, so the damage kind of wasn't there.
OQ and Pure pushing up that lane yet again. Looks like the blue will go hand it off smoothly to Gung. And Watch, I mean, I guess he was going to come in there, but Watch has been trying to make some plays. He's got 1 kill so far, but it's looked a little bit rusty, you know? The timings, the ability usage. You can tell it's been a while.
Yeah, we really are, and also just Elise right now. She definitely is not the strongest jungler, but this is where Watch wants to go, perhaps in preparation for the next patch. Start to get used to her in the booth again. It does make sense. Because her buffs are substantial.
When you're up a game too, you can kind of have the luxury to experiment a little bit, I suppose. Although, you know, every game point does matter in the playoff situation, so there is a bit of an element of risk to it too for NaJin.
Sure. At least going to come around the side right now, just taking a look at perhaps getting in from behind. Again, no flashes for Fury or Luna, so maybe he can get something done, but no, just going to back off. Zir in the meantime, seeing what he can do around his red pit. And that's going to be about it, so no further aggression. Duke is really far pushed up, and Watch is not there.
No wards.
Dangerous. Watch has to be up to cover Duke in these kind of situations.
Oh, Duke's dead. He's got his flash, but
he has flash, he has equalizer, but this is
really don't think he's making it out.
Duke is definitely up too far here.
Yeah, unless he goes back right now, he's gonna have a lot of trouble.
Watch could be there quickly is the thing. Eve is just waiting for this. Dude, this is where he should be. He's really towing a fine line. And he's
Okay,
going to
there
get
we
it
go.
out. So
Yeah.
he basically, Kuve would have had to flash Twisted Advance to get that, and then Duke could have flashed right afterwards. So that was the appropriate distance with Watch not being in the top side to actually do anything about this.
Well, Watch is here now.
Just going to back off, though. I think they understand the potential for a gank.
Yeah. He's playing it safe, and they do see Kuve invading as well, too, and he's not going to really do that unless Eve's around. Watch could be in a lot of trouble here, actually. Yep, there's the knockup, there's the Twisted Advance. Repels away, comes right back down. Equalizer used for Duke. Doesn't save his jungler, though.
But can they get Victor in here is going to be the
I
question.
wonder.
Goong has got the inside track here.
I think Duke went up a little bit too close, a little bit too fast, but Goong is getting there. Duke turns around, and Goong's not going to quite get there in time, zoned out by Crown. Meanwhile, Pure coming in, looks like they're going to pop that Silver Ult and go for it. Nice play from Luna, though, to prevent the engage from OQ. There's the flash, exhaust onto OQ. They can't quite get the kill, though. Fury is still very, very low.
Yeah, really risky to try for that all in. Again, you have a Braum, which obviously is nice, but you have to stack up those stuns, and the all-in is just significantly less powerful than if you have something like an Annie. So they try and make it work, but it just doesn't. They also don't have Ignite, they have Exhaust, which means they can't burn somebody down quite as quickly. That was a really good play from Samsung, though. I like how when they saw Elise up there, instead of trying to dive, they just went onto the Elise instead. They played deep with Kuve and watched and respect the fact that the enemy jungler could have been there, and he just thought he was safe going to do those Groms.
Yeah. A lot of members from NaJin coming down now to the bot lane, looking for possibly a dive or at least a turret that they can transition into a dragon.
Yeah, I just want to zone out right now.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a 4v2. This is not the worst dive to take.
Yeah, Luna and Fury coming pretty far up. That turret's about to go down. Pure gets flayed in, hops back to a minion, and are they going to go for it here? Watch throws a cocoon, he catches Luna. No flash for Luna right now. They have to be careful, but they can't push too far up.
No, they don't have information about the enemy jungler. They don't have wards and tri-brush, so dangerous to move any further on that. Still no TPs in these little skirmishes, strangely enough.
Yeah. This game has been much closer than the last one.
Yeah, but the fact that NaJin is ahead while still being 2 kills behind is a bit worrisome.
Yeah.
Thanks to the tower that they managed to get. And Goog has had his tower chunked out a bit, so it's a bit of an improvement there. But NaJin now trying to get the wards down to set up for a dragon.
Got to be careful though, Pierre. Finds Eve and Luna in his own jungle, and so no more wards for him for the moment.
Now, Samsung does have a good position right now. They're going to be there quite a bit sooner, considering that Azir's already there pushing and the Elise isn't quite at the objective yet. OQ can't walk up onto Fury right now.
And Samsung has a lot of nice wards around the Dragon Pit as well, too. So they can kind of keep an eye on what's going on in NaJin's lower jungle. Get the ward. And who's going to actually go for this? This first dragon.
I don't think anybody is going to go for it yet. Nobody wants to commit when it's a bit unclear who would win. Samsung also isn't in their first item power spike yet. They want the Trinity Force done. And Kuve probably needs to get his Righteous Glory done too. So I think it's smart for Samsung just to hold off for a little while longer. Don't want to be fighting in that particular situation, especially because Duke is actually going to be stronger than the Maokai before the Righteous Glory is completed.
Samsung this game is looking much less desperate. You know, they're looking much more calm, much more collected, and that's making it tougher for NaJin to get the crazy kill snowballs rolling.
Yeah, that said, NaJin is in a good place to do the Dragon, thanks to Rumble just having a little bit of magic penetration, not being quite so item dependent.
The crown being poked out really hard, too, by doing there. That certainly helps make the Dragon a bit easier.
Certainly does, so maybe they'll go for it. Nope, just going to back off. I think OQ and the rest of NaJin should really seriously think about this Dragon right now, because they're not going to get a better opportunity in the mid-game, more than likely.
Yeah, it's kind of looking that way.
Yeah, there's a massive backing right now. Definitely could just go for the drag.
Do they have that information, though?
Yeah, they should. And they have the bottom tier 1 turret down now. He's not going to go for it. I'm surprised. There definitely was a dragon timing right there from NaJin.
Yeah.
They may have been a little bit nervous, but Samsung had already fallen back to the red buff and taken that before actually recalling. So I suppose that NaJin may have thought that they had just recalled instantly and they would have been reappearing in the lane about that time.
I mean, going from hyper-aggressive, hyper-decisive to kind of the opposite this game. Hasn't worked out too well yet. I like it when NaJin is aggressive. I feel like that's when they make their best decisions, you know?
Yeah. And you might as well try it right there. You can always back off. You don't have to commit too heavily to a dragon. Well, OQ just going for the Avarice Blade next, so really delaying his power spike right now. And
well, looks a lot like what we saw last game from Fury.
Yep, they're going to try and take over this Dragon Pit at the moment. They know Elise is in top thanks to the sapling in the river. They're going to start it.
Wow. And so can NaJin do anything to stop this, or are they going to give the first Dragon to game 2 over to Samsung after denying all of them in game number 1? Here's the teleport coming down. Duke trying to make a play here. Dragon very, very low, but nobody's there to help. Eve, there's the equalizer, traps Luna and Fury. Dragon still very low. Goon comes in. Dragon taken, but they do lose Eve, and they're going to lose more than that. 2 kills come in for NaJin. They got the Dragon, and now they're going to lose more. Kuve in a little bit of trouble. Watch waiting for that cooldown on the Cocoon. Crown comes in, gets caught. Walked up a little bit too close. Got away with the Sand Soldier, but NaJin chasing, and there's the Emperor's Divide. They get the ult. And will NaJin just transfer right into this mid lane for the turret? Doesn't look like it.
Well, they are. Yeah,
actually they are. Yeah, they are.
Now, the Azir is still relatively high HP, so it will be hard for them to actually take that down. But they can keep pushing up these waves, and they pick up a couple of kills to punish Samsung for that objective. And they make it work. And they split up the team nicely. So Goong, basically, the way they skirmished that, Goong is in the pit, just 1v1ing the jungler, seeing maybe if he could get him before the dragon goes down and take the dragon after that. But they send everybody else to make sure that Fury can't get in that fight. Glacial Fissure is used, Equalizer is used on the outside, and there's really not a chance for Fury or Luna to do much of anything right there as they are split off from the jungler. That could have easily been 2 kills and a dragon for NaJin, but Eve lived long enough to make that not happen. So Samsung not really grouped on that objective, and the fact that Goong got into the pit like that made it pretty dicey for them.
It definitely did. BF Sword picked up by OQ now, so he's going to be doing a little bit more damage anyway. Just sitting there defending that turret in bot lane for now. But NaJin looking a little bit shaky early on in game number 2.
I mean, they're still looking fine. There's not really, they made the correct call in that team fight for sure. So they're just not dominating lane quite as hard as they did. I think the big mistake was really Watch just, wow.
Crown tries to make a play. There's the Emperor's Divide. Watch right there to protect his mid laner though. Oh, but maybe not enough. Cocoon misses. Watch repels right away. Pure comes in to throw in that Q. Now Watch is getting away, so they look like they managed to save Goong at least.
Yeah, and Samsung couldn't go any further because Kog'Maw was in base and OQ was walking up river, so it would have been a 4v3 in the end. Nice attempt by Crown though, a good all-in onto the Victor.
Yep.
Get some tower damage down. OQ now here just to clear out waves with the Boomerang Blade.
Mid lane turret in a lot of trouble. Pierce blocks some of that damage, but he can't block all of it.
There's no wave there. Meanwhile, Duke is just going to try and go in onto OQ. Duke still has his ult.
Yep, could use that. Luna coming in behind Duke, though.
Yeah, they know he's here. They're pinging him.
Yeah, could be trouble. Trying to get away, and there's a Lantern brought in. He's going to have to flash. Twist Advance comes in. Duke in a lot of trouble. There's the flash. He actually gets away.
And what is the follow-up going to be? Watch and Pure here.
Yeah, NaJin coming up right now. The sapling will get a bit of a slow, but there's Glacial Fissure. Gets the knockup at the very max range onto Kube. Kube turns around. Can he kill Duke? No. Can't quite do it. And OQ just dives the turret. Watch comes in for the final blow onto Kube.
I love how NaJin is finding these ways to dive towers safely.
Yeah, wow, Eve trying to make a play on to Goong here in the mid lane. He's alone against Crown as well. The 1v2, Emperor's Divide completely misses because of the flash, and Goong lives to fight another day.
Yeah, and they're going to get a tower too. Now, will this mid lane turret go down? Looks like it will. Crown is there, and Goong is scared. Goong playing too far forward when there are 4 people on his team diving a tower at the top side. Just needed to stay back and wave clear and not play risky. They could lose 2 towers for this play. They will.
Looks like they will, just barely, yeah.
So NaJin really not making the best trade.
No, all they got out of that was a kill or two and then an even standing in turrets. They're going to need a bit more than that. They also lack that first dragon too, so it's going to be slightly harder, but they can still certainly come back and win this pretty hard.
Yeah, they could have traded that a kill and 1-for-1 probably, but Goong just got caught out in mid.
Yeah.
So a bit of a misplay in terms of the communication and where the jungler could be in that situation, because clearly wasn't in the top lane, so Goong needed just to be a wave clear machine, not worry too much about trying to play aggressively and just save the mid turret, so they ended up with a preferable trade. Instead, the bottom turret goes down to the Kog'Maw, and we end up with a situation that was quite advantageous to Samsung.
Yeah, looking much, much better in game number 2 than we saw in game number 1. Hard to believe, but wow, the next dragon's already coming up. Seems like it just happened. 1 minute until that. And we'll see if NaJin can contest it. Right now, Samsung the one with all the vision in the jungle.
Just firing out some cues there, right into the brush, and here we go. Looks like we are going to see a fight here. NaJin wants to commit to this.
Watch really wanted to kill that tunnel. Tried to prevent Eve from coming in quickly.
Good vision for Samsung, and NaJin has immense wave clear.
Yeah, they may just go for this mid lane turret just to try to pull Samsung back, but now they're turning onto that dragon. All 5 members moving into the river. They grab it, and Watch gets grabbed as well, too.
Good damage onto Watch there.
Yeah, really good. That could be trouble with the dragon coming up.
If they get control of the crab. So how much does Samsung want to commit to this dragon? It's like, it's been a very preemptive dragon vision fight. Looks like going back to Samsung about 20 seconds beforehand. So NaJin going to initiate some recalls right now.
Yeah.
Pure has the mobility boots, so that will not be an issue for getting back in time. However, Release does not. Watch goes back, picks up the Aegis of the Legion. That's going to be really nice.
Definitely. Oh, they grab Duke. Is there any sort of follow-up? Well, the follow-up is damage.
Quite a bit of damage, getting a little bit of red buff burn there. Kuve split pushing right now. Duke not in the top side, able to contest that.
There's Equalizer goes down. Crown jumps off of it, though. And teleport coming in. Is this going to be a play for Samsung? Kuve locked up immediately, and he's getting solo so fast. Still makes it into the team for a big arcane smash before it goes down. Eve trying to mix it up as well, but Goong starting to make plays here. Watch gets out. Samsung still in the chase. Fury with a kill there, and Watch in big trouble. Takes an ult. There's the summoner heal from OQ to get him away, but that's a kill on each side. In fact, that went better for Samsung, and they should be able to claim dragon number 2.
Yep, they could just fall right back to the dragon. It looked kind of disastrous at the beginning as Kuve was just isolated on the side, but they used so much of their CC in that choke point. Probably would have been better not to use the gravity field right there, but instead to put it out to zone the rest of the team off, because they have concussive blows. They've got the cocoon. They should have enough lockdown already for the Maokai, and just stopping the rest of the engage was more important. Kill the Maokai, so watch this. I mean, normally putting gravity field down here is a good idea, but now they've got nothing, and Luna's just able to walk up for free. Imagine the gravity field on the other side instead. Would have made a very big difference, I think, in this team fight.
It certainly seems that way.
So instead, their flank just gets attacked by the rest of Samsung, and they're not able to really do much about it. So, in spite of all that, NaJin's still with a slight gold lead.
Yeah, for now. And they're still even on turrets. And it's really 3rd and 4th dragon where you start to get very nervous about these dragon stacks. 1 and 2, not the biggest deal.
Still, you have to say, Samsung's composition has the better late game scaling. I mean, we're talking about Azir, Kog'Maw, and Maokai here.
That is true. But do Samsung have the better late game skirmishing? And I think the answer there is definitely no. So if it stays even, you'd think NaJin would still have a little bit of an edge in teamfights just out of sheer mechanics.
Yeah, and Elise too, always a champion that you can set up a lot of these picks with. That is very dangerous, long duration stun, and when you couple that with Sivir and Victor burst.
Yep, uh-oh. Duke teleports in behind. Does he have the equalizer? He does. Nice equalizer, slows down a lot of members of Samsung. Huge play by Crowd. Really nice catch on the Goong. And NaJin has to back off. Goong was just kind of on his own, and Samsung just turned onto him. They're still chasing Watch and Duke here. Duke flashes. There's a nice double knockup from Eve. Watch repels. But he's not going to be able to repel Samsung as he dives into the back line and dies immediately. And now NaJin trying to turn it around. Pure gets grabbed, though, and OQ on the run. Pure had to hop over the wall.
That was actually a really nice kill onto Fury that looked very unlikely at the start of things. He's going to try and kill Duke with some Prey Seekers. There's the scrapped shield.
Yep.
Not going to be enough. Turns around with a harpoon. So OQ actually picking up the kill onto Fury was huge. They decided to re-engage after the concussive blows landed onto Fury, and we saw the repel come in from Watch, and then OQ just fearlessly walk forward. He knew there wasn't an Emperor's Divide at that point to stop him from getting a bunch of ricochet autos off.
Now they can lose their top lane turret for it. NaJin gradually getting pushed back across the map here.
Yep.
Crown's Azir has been so good this game, too. He only has 4 assists, but man, he's been making plays.
Yeah, he has, and he turned that engagement right on its head. Goong thought he could get in there and deal enough damage to just kill the backline, but Crown really made a big play to stop him after the equalizer hit.
Yeah. And now Samsung thinking about this Baron, but it would be a little bit risky. They have nice wards, but you can't do that when NaJin's up.
You cannot do that right now. You get shredded by Baron with your MR, and Victor and Rumble will absolutely 100% own you. So it would be very foolish as long as NaJin is in some sort of situation where they can get Victor or Rumble there. And you can see they're just pruning the wave, so they're trying to get a slow push rolling. Oh, no, not enough actually, so we'll push back to the turret. But it won't be an overwhelming number of minions. So let's watch this bottom wave right now from NaJin.
Pure. Oh, he failed his ward. Ugh.
Oh, he didn't want to get close. He's scared of Thresh.
Yeah, who isn't? Gravity Field locks up Luna, and that's a nice pick. Good equalizer. That's going to secure the kill. Great, man. Great Gravity Field from Goong. What presence of mind to be like, well, now you're dead.
Also, Pure should not have been there.
Yeah.
There's so much CC that can be chained together. Now, this wave is going to be turned around eventually. Duke going to go for it. I thought this might be just left there to slow push.
And Duke does not have teleport right now, so they need to be a little bit careful. I mean, yeah, Samsung doesn't have Luna at the moment, but they can still be a bit threatening. Looks like they won't be, though. It's a good time to push this wave, too, with Dragon looming here in a minute and a half.
And it's coming right up. And Eve wants to take the crab well in advance of that next dragon. Of course, stacking up those dragons is an excellent win condition for them right now. Goong trying just to take the scuttle crab on the top side so that if they play for the dragon, there's not going to be any shenanigans that cause Samsung to get a Baron.
Yeah. That was a mighty battle between Goong and the scuttle crab, but in the end, Victor prevailed.
So this is a big test for NaJin. They definitely have the weaker late game rather, and they haven't been in this position in a while, which is to say, even in a game, but maybe at a slight disadvantage due to composition.
Watches grab. Spiderlings abandoned him, man. Nobody wanted to take that hook, I guess. Still walking out. Here comes Kube with the home guard engage.
Ooh, bad port.
Home guard attempt, yeah.
Bad port from Kube there. Not that much in terms of kill pressure. Sure, Sivir wasn't there, but you still have the Victor, which is quite threatening.
30 seconds until Dragon comes, so NaJin's going to need to book it in a hurry down to the Dragon part of the map. Fury just pushing this wave back up again.
So OQ finished his last Whisper. That is going to be actually not that important for this next fight because Kube has no armor. So there is no armor on that team.
Bit of a love tap onto Duke there. Goong will be able to finish off the mid lane turret. Another nice little catch before Dragon.
Yeah, obviously that helps. The big item purchase here is Duke finishing his Zhonya's Hourglass because now finally NaJin has more of a front line.
He can become the flame wall with that flame spitter Zhonya's combination that we see players like Shy executing really, really well.
Interesting. Purely magic resist on Kube. He has to be very careful as Sivir.
Yep. All right. Is it NaJin time? You know, I feel like...
Ooh, Samsung has no wards on Baron, so...
it's a bit risky.
NaJin could definitely just go take Baron during this Dragon attempt. That's really, really risky. Okay, so they're doing the smart thing. They're just going to have Fury solo it along, well, duo it with Eve, rather. Nice dragon play there from Samsung. Very well executed. Samsung is not a pushover, too. They have the right execution in this game.
Yeah. And it's not that NaJin's been playing really badly this game either. It's just been a very close game.
Well, NaJin, they're not playing for the 5v5 right now. They want to find the picks, it would seem.
Yeah. And we still are as well in a little bit of that situation where, as the veteran team in NaJin, you can kind of wait for Samsung to make a mistake too, because they will be the team more likely to do that the longer the game goes.
Yeah, they need to get their wave play around the backside of the turret now if they don't want to lose it.
Yep. NaJin trying to defend this tier 2 in mid. For now, Goong looking to come in with the flank on the Victor.
Yeah, he also has to clear up the top wave, though. Side wave pressure in favor of Samsung, so they may just go ahead and get this tier 2 while Goong is up there.
As soon as they see Goong, I think they're going to move right in, or not.
There's no wave. That was actually well timed by Goong.
Yeah,
Very well timed by Goong. So he used the wave spawning to use...
Watch got grabbed. Immediately the Braum ult goes down. Fury's zoned out by Goong right away, but can NaJin turn this one around? Equalizer went down, did a little bit, did a lot actually to Samsung. Can they chase? Duke slowed right before he was going to get a lot of flame spitter damage in. Fury at about half health has to back off. They're going to take that Azir turret. Man, are they lucky that turret was there.
Wow, that was almost disastrous for Samsung. Fury did not very much damage in that fight because Goong came in from the flank and hit him with the gravity field and the Chaos Storm immediately, so he was sent on the run. And Duke and Okio were just doing a huge amount of damage to that front line and very little in return from Samsung. So they still had the Azir wall to escape if they needed it. They did not drop the Emperor's Divide, but dicey situation. They got very low.
I mean, Samsung, made a little bit of an error there. They caught Watch, and everybody just immediately filed right in for the catch, and that grouped them up nicely for NaJin's counter-engage.
But catching somebody with a Thresh hook when there's a Braum in the game, if you try to engage in a 5v5 onto that, you're basically just going to guarantee that Braum gets in front of him and casts Glacial Fissure. Yeah. So it is a bit dangerous to follow up when it's a team fight like that off of a Thresh hook.
Yeah, and that's the type of mistakes that we were just talking about. That's the opportunity that NaJin's looking for. And they're actually pushing back across the map quite nicely. They didn't really get any kills out of it, but they got a lot of map presence back. Got some time to clear wards, put down some wards. So they've managed to kind of wrestle things back to even here as far as the map control goes, but NaJin still in a lot of trouble.
NaJin's still with that slight gold lead too. They're not out of it. They definitely could use more of a gold lead compared to Samsung just compositionally.
Yeah.
They want to have a more comfortable win, but it's not out of the question, just playing from that slight disadvantage. The real thing is the dragons. I mean, if Samsung gets dragon number 4, that is going to be terrible.
It's real bad.
NaJin.
Yeah. So they've got Kube in this bottom lane, and he's going to have his teleport soon. Okay, just recalling now just to stay safe. Makes sense. He wants to be near his team. And NaJin can push up mid, and I guess they're not going to rotate into the lower part of the map to get back a bit more vision. There's a lot of wards for Samsung. Samsung's been doing a very good job warding this game.
Yes, they have. Definitely, that's been a big part of their dragon play, has been very clean warding. Samsung bouncing back nicely after getting trounced in the Vision game in the last game.
NaJin staying very widely spaced. Trying to come in with that concave. And are they going to find an opportunity here? You can see the vision from Samsung. They don't have a ton of it. Oh, and Watch is just going to repel over to the Raptors, it looks like.
Yeah, just gets the Raptor buff that will take care of one ward.
Yeah.
Samsung's still a little bit slow when it comes to getting actual vision onto the Baron. And they're going to have to deal with this top wave soon. And the bottom wave eventually. They're trying to make a play right now, but they're not going to be able to do it. That was not a good TP.
Teleport canceled by Duke. They're going to activate that Sivir ultimate. Goong gets jumped on. Oh, that's a lot of damage, and this is what NaJin may have been looking for. Crowned a little bit on the outside of the fight. That's a double kill now for Duke. Pure going down as well. Crown in a little trouble, finally gets taken out by OQ. It's such a brawl, but it looks like NaJin is barely able to win it in the end. A double kill for OQ. We'll see if he picks up the triple. Does not. That one goes to Duke, and they are going to turn right around for this Baron.
Samsung massively overcommitted to that. Once you miss your abilities like that, when we saw them try and just force the engage, if you lose all of your engage tools, if your TP Righteous Glory doesn't work, it's so easy for NaJin. Because remember, OQ didn't even use On the Hunt to escape that, which meant as soon as their engage was gone, OQ just flips on his ultimate. Duke is already walking there. He gets a very good equalizer into a choke point, and you're just, that's it. That's it for you. Just watch this. So right here, you see the TP is actually canceled by Duke. That was a very smart TP cancel. So look at this. Here's the turnaround. You get crushed into choke point. Watch is there behind you. Get some CC down. Fury dies instantly to Duke because he's all separated on the side of the fight. And OQ is easily able to kill the Azir as a lot of that damage went down onto the Victor instead. But that was great poise by NaJin. Holding the Sivir ult that long was very, very good.
You know, that said, 4th Dragon being taken right now by Samsung. NaJin needs to do this again immediately if they want to stop it. 4th Dragon taken by Samsung, but will they lose a team fight afterwards? Fury a little bit caught out. You're in trouble. There goes Duke in the back line. Pop the Zonias. Doesn't kill Fury, though. OQ trying to make plays. Gets one onto Crown now, and they're going to chase. There's 2 for OQ. Got the double kill. Eve going over the Baron pit, or Dragon pit, rather. Fury made it out of that fight, and that 4th Dragon could be trouble for NaJin later, but they're starting to win the team fights pretty handily.
Well, Fury got hit by a cocoon at the start of that, so he unfortunately took the brunt of that damage and couldn't contribute any of his own because he just had to run from the burst from Victor.
All right, there's another turret. NaJin pushing ahead. Can they maybe get an inhibitor here? They can at least do a lot of damage to objectives.
They have Baron. It's a 5 versus 3 with Baron. They will get at least one inhibitor here.
Thanks for killing the hype. I could be like, oh wow, they get an inhibitor, but now everybody already knows. Oh, they got an inhibitor.
They did. Now they're going to back off. Well, Samsung did the smart thing. The way they get back into this game, they have that fight there. They get the 4th Dragon, and now at the very least, maybe there's a sliver of a chance that they can get a 5th Dragon. The inhibitor is down, but it's going to be back up by the time the Dragon is, so it's not so bad for them considering the deficit they were already facing.
Now they do still have that little threat anyway against NaJin, but with the way these last couple team fights have been going, it's going to be tough for Samsung.
Yeah, this has been it's been a nice game from NaJin. And it's not as dominating as the last one, but I think if you're a NaJin fan, the takeaway here is, hey, maybe they don't have to absolutely wreck their lanes to win the game. They lost a lot of their lanes. They lost the early kill battle here, but how they've gotten back into this was through some nice team fighting like we saw in that last one. They made the right decision, especially Duke, a player that we've been criticizing in terms of his TP usage, canceling his TP and then following up with the Sivir ult that hadn't been used was very smart.
Yeah. True enough. And NaJin pushing in now with what remains of their Baron buff, which is to say nothing. Just ended. Try to do damage to this tier 2 turret. Watch gets a little bit poked out.
Yeah, have to be careful here.
Well, Crown is still doing a good amount of damage.
Now, here's the thing. They know they need to just sweep the topside jungle for Rek'Sai tunnels right now because they're only using Rek'Sai on the bottom because they don't have port.
Yeah.
So as long as they know there aren't any close Rek'Sai tunnels, it's safe for them to push forward.
Okay, there's goes to tier 2. NaJin jumps ahead. 7 to 3 and turrets now.
Man, Eve just can't do damage to these super minions.
Yeah. Yeah, you can really only do so much. Takes so long to clear those.
So NaJin just going to back off right now. They can continue to just clear vision. Maybe they'll get lucky and get this red buff, but it doesn't look like it. Try to steal with the Boomerang Blade, not quite there. And time to recall, spend all that money you've earned, and then start to push into the top side, considering that it will be the Baron that comes up before the Dragon. Actually, they're probably going to spawn at about the same time.
Well, NaJin just playing patiently, going to try to close this one out soon. We'll see how smoothly that goes.
Yeah, it's going to take probably another Baron, realistically.
Probably.
They don't have the same dive potential with this composition that they had with the last one. So it does make it a little bit harder just to crush your way through the enemy base. But they do have better, I guess they have slightly better siege. It's not really, well, kind of a toss-up actually. They had the Corki last game, so I guess the siege advantage there goes to the Corki. They want to fight around objectives with the Sivir and the Rumble. So that's probably what we're going to see them do, and it will be approximately the same spawn for the Dragon and the Baron, but there's plenty of time, the 30 seconds, to get the Dragon and then transition into the Baron.
Yeah.
And Samsung's going to have to fight this Dragon. There's not a choice, really.
NaJin already has the control over that part of the map, so they can kind of set the battlefield. You know, they can prepare it in the way they want to have it.
Basically, Samsung's problem is that NaJin will instantly start the Dragon when it spawns.
Yeah.
Which means that, and they just don't have the power because of their deficit to actually just sit and wait to poke them out, then try and fight them afterwards.
Well, that's the thing, is that if NaJin does start that Dragon right away, there's no way that Samsung can really get to it without walking through a choke.
Yep. It's very problematic, but NaJin's playing this properly.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody getting there in time. Duke the last to arrive, fashionably late.
I think you just kind of have to hope that Eve gets a steal here from the backside of the pit. That's about what you're banking on.
If that happens, that'll be pretty big. 30 seconds now, and NaJin, all they need to do is just sit and wait here and make sure that Samsung doesn't outmaneuver them.
Well, Samsung, maybe they can get some good poke down and force a fight before the Dragon or right when the Dragon spawns.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very close.
Well, they've managed to move into the mid lane, which is really nice. Have they caught Luna here? Oh, Sivir, they think they have. They're going to turn around. They get Luna to use the box early. Teleport coming in. NaJin's going to be all over him when he comes in. Duke gets grabbed. Has the Zonias early, though. OQ and Gung on the outside of the fight getting a lot of damage, and Fury still gets the first kill onto Duke now. And is that enough damage? Oh, Watch goes down too. Samsung may have this one. They certainly have the team fight, and it looks like they're going to get that 5th Dragon as well.
Wow, so Samsung, that was exactly the same situation as before. They dropped the gravity field onto Kube instead of using it to zone. Now, they're still very strong, but a full health Rek'Sai will be coming through. Yeah. Now, Duke does have TP whenever he gets back up, but this is going to be 5 Dragons.
OQ and Gung need to be heroes here, but they can't even do it. Backing off.
Yep. He doesn't have flash. OQ was caught out in the front of that choke, so had to flash to the back. And the inhibitor goes down again because the super minions weren't cleared out, but NaJin looked like they panicked a bit in that team fight instead of playing things a little bit more cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, like you said, they ran right onto the same situation they had before. They were all grouped up right when Maokai spawned in the middle of them from that teleport, and that knockup from the Arcane Smash is nothing to really sneeze at.
Yeah, I mean, Gung and OQ did get into a good position, but it took some summoners to do it.
Yeah, they did take a Nexus turret as well, too, just now, I believe.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it looks like they did.
So they're delaying Samsung enough. Duke and Watch are back up. So all they have to do is dance around for the next couple of minutes. Samsung is going to be forced onto this Baron. They have to do it.
All right, well, they've got that 5 Dragon buff. It's going to be tough for NaJin to fight, but can they find them in the choke here? Duke coming in, Pure. There's the equalizer, goes down a little bit early. Splits up the team, though. Can NaJin make this work? Watch goes in. He gets the Baron. He steals it. Duke with a nice Zonias. Doesn't activate that Flame Spitter, though. Braumalt comes in. NaJin has to back off. They're still fighting against a 5 Dragon. Samsung. Pure goes down. Emperor's Divide used. Watch in a bit of trouble. Looks like OQ gets a kill, though. Crown manages to pick one up on Watch. It's back and forth. 2 on each side now. Crown jumps into the blue buff pit to try to get away, and NaJin able to push them despite losing that 5th Dragon. NaJin just playing it patiently. Clutch Baron steal by Watch.
And Gung held the Chaos Storm for so long there. They thought it was gone. And now NaJin actually able to push back into the base, get another tower. They can't commit to an inhibitor.
Yeah, it's a little bit too dangerous to go up against this 5 Dragon buffed Azir and Kog'Maw, but they're going to be able to turn it around and be content that they have Baron buff still on all their carries.
All right, so maybe not the best equalizer right there coming in, but they still managed to get it. And watch this from Watch. So See if he gets the execute damage down, and yeah, he hit the smite at the same time as execute. He just has more burst damage than the Rek'Sai does, so he manages to time it. Nicely done by Watch. And then here we go, the fight going through. Now Watch, the Chaos Storm right there, popped late just to zone. So he gets Luna with it, and it means that there's no follow-up possible from Samsung while the Chaos Storm is there, and everybody on the inside gets hit by the Sivir.
This has been a pretty exciting game, but NaJin, with this Baron buff, as the 5 Dragon buff ends now for Samsung, should have a big edge.
OQ sold his cowl for a black cleaver.
I love it. He's gone full OQ.
Well, there's not a lot of threat to him, honestly, especially now that the Mikhails is there for Pure, so he can cleanse any kind of thresh hooks or twisted advances that get onto him. So he can also apply so many stacks across the team with his Ricochet.
Yeah. And that does benefit Watch, I suppose, too. A little bit. I mean,
it's obviously not a high amount of synergy, but
he's
it's
showboating
okay.
a little bit, let's be honest.
I don't know. I think it's a good item. If you can consistently get Ricochet autos in.
Watch him get hit by the death sentence here. And
it really depends on your positioning, though.
Yeah.
It's either valuable or entirely useless.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is you'll get more ricochets with the CDR, so.
No, that's true. That's a good point. NaJin trying to make this Baron buff a tool to take this inhibitor in mid lane.
And Azir turret, though, still going to be foiling their attempts. And, I mean, it's Sivir's low range. They have a melee top laner.
Yeah, the siege is not good.
Yeah, and it's not a melee top laner that can just walk up to the turret and zone people out either. He's still pretty squishy. He doesn't even have a Rylai's right now, going for that pure AP.
Yep. Got the Void Staff.
I do wonder about this Blade, though. Probably, or this Black Cleaver. Probably Blade is a better item at this stage of the game, but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, OQ's positioning has been really good in the fights that have happened so far. He hasn't died. He's the only person in the game to not die yet. So he can certainly keep doing what he's doing and use that Black Cleaver to good effect. For himself, anyway.
Yeah, and also it does give him a bit more survivability against burst than a Blade of the Ruined King does.
True.
Has that HP, but, you know, I still think Blade is better here, honestly, on the Sivir. I mean, you're looking at this Rek'Sai and this Maokai in the late game. Sure, he's got some life still sustain with the Bloodthirster, but now that Kuve has the Thornmail, that is going to be at a premium. Oh, Luna.
Oh, almost gets caught. Flash is used by Watch and Luna.
That was actually
misses.
That was a bit of a misplay by Watch. He should have aimed that. He should have aimed that Cocoon better, because he probably could have had that if it was at a different angle, because the flash from Luna was actually late.
Yeah. Well, Dragon in 30 now. Samsung wants to get that 5 Dragon buff back again. They've got that constant threat now. Can NaJin stop them? Samsung doing a good job of staying out of the chokes, but NaJin has a position over the Dragon at the moment anyway.
NaJin also has the benefit of Kog'Maw ults to continuously check these brushes. So Dragon coming up, Samsung looking for their second 5th Dragon stack.
Yep. We need a name like Super Dragon buff or something that we can use. Here they come. NaJin, can they prevent this? They need it, and a first Dragon for them would be a big buff too. Oh, Kuve coming from the side. They're trying to catch NaJin in the choke here. Can they do it? Equalizer goes down. Oh, who caught who? NaJin doing a ton of damage initially, but is it enough? Eve backing away. There's the Emperor's Divide. Watch. Very, very chunked out, and NaJin coming in. OQ has to back away, and meanwhile, Eve very low. Duke nearly picks him off. OQ can't get closer. He can't walk into those Sand Soldiers. Looks like NaJin has barely done it. Looks like they should be able to get this Dragon.
I don't know. They're a man down.
We'll
Kuve doesn't have TP anymore, but there is
the pure.
It's so hard to tell. Eve is here. Here comes the TP. Duke coming back in with full HP.
Yeah, I guess I spoke too soon. Duke coming in. Fury in a lot of trouble, getting roasted alive.
Here comes OQ.
Oh, OQ gets 1 kill. Duke in trouble, but can OQ save the team? Pure still alive. Goon comes back in for the kill, and Eve on the run. Now NaJin has managed to turn it around enough that, like I mentioned earlier, they should be able to get this dragon, but
Duke's back again. He
their
needs to.
base is in trouble.
Yeah, he needs to clear out the top side. That's a massive wave. Is he actually going to do it? No, he's clearing out mid instead.
Wow, and I guess that gets him closer to the dragon, too. NaJin started it, but didn't finish it. Dragon's sitting in the mouth of the pit right now, I guess.
Well, NaJin doesn't have smite, so they're
Yeah.
afraid to actually do it right now. Duke has decided.
Oh, jeez.
This is an interesting decision. I guess they're just going to rush the inhibs.
I guess so. I mean, Crown
actually
and
not
Fury.
bad.
Crown and Fury are still down for 30 seconds,
Yeah,
so
this
they
is
can
actually
come in.
smart. This is actually a good call. It
Yeah.
looks iffy, but right now, you don't have your jungler up, so you're scared.
And there's only one Nexus
Can
for
you
it.
actually win the game right now? I think you can.
I think they can, yeah, because again, there's a lot of time until the carries come up. Pure needs to be careful. Still a lot of tanking is preventing these Nexus turrets from going down. They get Kube, a kill for Duke, but they need to do this fast. They need to win it and take out this Nexus turret. They can. A double kill for OQ at the end, and that should be it. Despite the low health for Goong, he's going to die to minions, but not until the Nexus is damaged enough to do it. That